Around 2001, I was an assistant principal of a large high school. And in this large high school, you had 1,300 freshmen coming in and 400 students graduating every year. And this was a common trend in New York City, throughout New York City.
There was a lot of talk about how Kennedy was going to be broken up into smaller schools because it wasn't performing successfully as one large institution. And the principal of Kennedy actually told Evan, you know what, I see a lot in you, you really should consider starting a smaller school.
The Bronx School of Law and Finance was started 4 years ago. We are now in our 4th year, and we are graduating our first class. New York City, Department of Education, and New Visions teamed up to create smaller high schools within larger campuses. We got 5 schools that are part of this campus now. Bronx Engineering, Bronx School of Law and Finance, Bronx Theater High School, Marble Hill International School, and then the original school, John F. Kennedy High School, which is still intact and still part of the campus. While we were writing the proposal, we approached the National Academy Foundation and we said, well, we want you to know that as soon as we become a school, we want to become part of the National Academy Foundation, because I felt that the NAF model, which promotes internships, which promotes job shadowing, literacy, academic rigor, college readiness, also stands for offering opportunities to people in which they may not have had before. And that's what our population represented.
Too many kids were not graduating from high school, and we wanted to change it.
Our lead partner is Barnard College, which is part of Columbia University, and right away, that is something that the students and the parents react to, that a school of that caliber has decided to partner up with a school in the Bronx.
Our input was really, I would say primarily 2 things. Ideas, really playing off the concepts that were evolving in the vision of having a school that would partner with a higher ed institution, and how you would make that rigorous and yet student-centered. And the other was really in personnel. Students from courses who would do work here, tutoring, who volunteer at work here, curriculum develop material, personnel and student teacher, or internship or practicum. And so the more people you have, the more fertilization takes place.
We work with one particular part of Barnard, the education program. So they're sending us student teachers, they're sending us interns, and part of our collaboration with them is the understanding that we feel strongly about developing good teachers.
What I would say to anybody who's trying to start up an academy, the #1 thing is find educators who really buy into the notion that school is not 9 to 3 and that kids are not just kids. Find people who really believe that the way to have our kids become successful is to care about them, show the kids that we care about them, that they care about them, and to show them that they're very valuable people to the community and to others.
It makes me feel important. It makes me feel that my teachers are not here for their salary. It makes me feel that they're here for me and making sure that I get something out of my education besides. So I know that when they go home, they feel good about themselves because they helped another student.
So what are you doing? You're doing a piece on who?
On Adam and Ricky.
The big intent of this is really to give students a much more personalized learning environment and ensure that they have a place where almost every single teacher is going to know every student's name. The teachers check up on them on a regular basis. We have these morning meetings where the teachers can actually sit down and within 2 weeks talk about every single student's progress in every single class.
You know everyone. In a big school, you don't know everyone. And it's not that personal. You can't talk to your teachers and ask them, oh, I don't understand this. Could you help me now? They have 5 million other people in the classroom that don't understand it either.
They talk to our advisors, so like if they have a problem with us or if we're missing anything, they just tell our advisors and our advisors will tell us and stuff like that.
Our school has an advisory class where we are given 15 students or so, 15 to 20 students, and we watch these 15, 20 kids grow, and they remain with us throughout the 4 years of their high school career.
The advisor will meet with the teacher once a week, find out how their students are doing. If a student is missing a homework assignment, the advisor knows about it within a couple of days.
Does anyone else I know?
For my English class, he was doing really beautifully last semester, and I think he got a little too cocky.
And slipping in economics?
Often what you find is the math teacher or the English teacher or the science teacher are also hearing this conversation, and before you know it, by the end of the day, one student has been asked by 4 teachers why they didn't do a homework assignment.
In none of these classes are we worried about you not passing, but you're going from like 90s to 70s. You've gone from teaching the class to going downhill. What happened?
Each teacher for me means a lot to me. I would call them family to me. My advisory teacher, especially Ms. Boris, I would call her like a second mother to me.
And it's a whole growth process with the advisory. So the fact that we committed to it right from the beginning and we kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, we want this, we want to see this. And eventually it blossomed into what we have now, which is such a major part of our school.
My curriculum is totally finance-based. I'm a finance major. I've taken classes in stocks and investments, securities. It's a stock ticker in one of my classrooms.
Here in New York, we have these high-stakes tests that these students have to accomplish a certain curriculum in order to graduate and pass certain tests. And so how do you balance out the state requirements and curriculum with your academy classes, making sure that they are getting that financial literacy or whatever your academy theme is? How are you going to be able to balance that as well as integrate?
This is for like they need an extra.
We'll have a professional development session where we sit around, we do curriculum mapping, and some of it is how you go across the grade levels, how you get all subjects infused, interdisciplinary, but specifically we'll also stop and do a totally different curriculum map just on how we're infusing law and finance into the regular classes.
In our classes, our desks are non-traditional desks. They're usually 2 or 4 people at a table, and they're in the classroom for 90 minutes. They're not coming in and out every 40 minutes, and they really get into working collaboratively to build and promote the theme of the school.
We are now teachers of an empowerment zone, and what that means is basically it gives us a little bit more freedom.
Layla, it is time to play Deal or No Deal. Select the card that you believe has the score that you want. Show the class. 64. Good start.
If a teacher wants to read a certain book, or if they want to do something, go on a trip, take students someplace, they find that they have been supported 100%.
We're so spoiled being here in New York City because we constantly can bring them down to Wall Street or the Fed, and we're so supported by the local community.
I know my school, they partner with Merrill Lynch, Citigroup,
Bank of New York, KPMG, they are giving internships to our students. They are working 40-hour internships in the summer, working side by side with partners, with professionals, with associates, and they're doing real work. They're not just there getting coffee and doing filing. They are doing meaningful work, working on presentations, attending meetings, and they are felt that they are treated like professionals. And we feel that they're able to rise to that occasion because this is a culture that we instilled in them from day one.
I have a number of students in my advisory who are doing internships, so what I do is I call up their bosses and I check on them and see how they're doing. I really want to know more about my students, and I want to know how they're doing in different environments. And it really gives me a better understanding about who they are as people.
I got to work at the Bank of New York, and it wasn't like just the branch, it was actually the corporation, so I exactly got to see corporate world firsthand, like with work ethics and, exactly how people actually conduct themselves.
A 14-year-old in New York City is the same as a 14-year-old in the Midwest, as same as in a wealthy suburban area. They need to have a purpose of why they're in this school.
I have my friends here and there that I always walk with in the morning, and usually we talk about stuff that we're going to do in school and here and there. Before we used to talk about, what are we going to do after school. We never got into the topic about school.
I feel like I'm at home. Like, it feels more so like a college campus. Like, like my teachers and everybody's close to my age, and the curriculum. It was just amazing. Like, this was like definitely an eye-opening experience for me.
I think if you walk down the halls of our school, you're going to see happy kids for the most part, and you're going to see kids who have really bought into the idea that without education, they will never leave the Bronx. Not saying that that's what all of them want to do. I know a lot of them want to stay here and build up the community, but a lot of them want to see what else is out there as well. And I think that they do understand that without this school and without school in general, the chances of that are a lot harder.
The students will rise to the occasion. When they are challenged, they will rise to the occasion. If they're not challenged, they're not going to approach a teacher and say, challenge me. They need the teacher to say, you know what, you can do this, I know you can do this, this is the support I'm going to give you, and they get it. They get it from us.